A human soldier accepts the honor of guarding an alien princess, only to discover she carries a secret that could topple an empire. Tonight's story is one of loyalty, sacrifice, and the truth that no throne can hide forever. This is a human guard protects an alien princess, but she's hiding the truth. Let's begin. They told me guarding Princess Serenya would be an honor. They didn't mention it would also be a death sentence. When the Terran Diplomatic Corps assigned me to the Zelari Empire, I thought it would mean endless ceremonial duties, standing stiff in polished armor while nobles whispered and sipped glittering wine. But Serenya was no ordinary royal. She was young by her people's standards, barely 2 centuries, and rebellious enough that assassins kept trying their luck. That's why they wanted a human guard. Unpredictable, the ambassador said. Harder for enemies to anticipate. So here I was, a single soldier from Earth, stationed at the side of a princess who glowed faintly in the dark, whose eyes shimmered like molten silver, and whose every gesture carried the weight of a 1,000-year dynasty. On my first night, she looked me up and down, unimpressed. A human, she murmured, her voice like wind through glass. Do you bleed easily? I smirked. Only if someone's stupid enough to try me, Your Highness. Her lips curved ever so slightly. It was the first and last time that week I saw her smile. The first strike came at dusk, 3 nights later. We were walking through the royal gardens, crystalline flowers glowing softly under the twin moons, when the air shimmered. Assassins emerged from cloaking fields, weapons drawn. Serenya didn't flinch, but I did. Training kicked in. I shoved her behind me and fired my pulse rifle, dropping the first attacker. Another lunged from the shadows, my blade caught him across the chest. But the third slipped past me. His dagger aimed straight for her heart. Princess! I shouted, too far to intercept. And then something strange happened. Serenya raised her hand, and the dagger stopped mid-air. No, not stopped, shattered, it disintegrated into a cloud of harmless dust. The assassin froze, screaming, as his armor cracked and fell apart, leaving him writhing on the ground. I finished him off with a shot, chest heaving. When I turned back, she was calm. Too calm. What was that? I demanded, lowering my weapon. You never said you could. Her eyes burned with silver light. You saw nothing. Of course, I had seen something. And the more I thought about it, the less it made sense. Zelari nobility were many things, regal, arrogant, terrifyingly powerful, but not like that. I'd studied their abilities. None of them could disintegrate weapons with a thought. None could strip a man of his armor without touching him. That was something else. Later, when the palace was quiet, I confronted her. You're hiding something, I said. You don't need a guard, do you? You need a cover. For the first time, she looked afraid. You do not understand, she whispered. If my people knew, they would not call me princess. They would call me abomination. Her words hit me like a shockwave. She confessed, haltingly. She wasn't just a princess. She was something forbidden, born with powers that the empire had long since purged from its bloodlines. A throwback to an ancient, dangerous strain. If the nobles discovered it, they wouldn't crown her. They'd kill her. The attacks, she admitted, weren't just political. Some already suspected the truth. Why tell me? I asked quietly. Because you already saw, she said, silver eyes glistening. And because I think you will not betray me. From that night on, guarding her meant more than blocking blades. It meant guarding her secret. I doubled my patrols. Slept in my armor. Trusted no one. When assassins came again, I fought harder, fiercer, because every strike aimed at her was also aimed at what she was hiding. And slowly, she began to trust me. Late at night, she would ask about Earth. About families, about what it meant to be human. I told her stories of mothers and children, of laughter around kitchen tables, of wars fought and won not just with weapons but with willpower. Humans are fragile, she said once, and yet you endure. I envy that. I shook my head. Fragile doesn't mean weak. Sometimes, it makes us stronger. One evening, after another failed attempt on her life, she touched my arm. Her hand glowed faintly against my skin. You risk your life for me, she said softly. Even knowing what I am. Why? I didn't have an easy answer. Maybe it was duty. Maybe it was loyalty. Maybe it was the way her voice trembled, as though she'd spent centuries carrying a secret alone. Because everyone deserves someone in their corner, I said at last. For the first time, she didn't argue. The final attack came not from assassins, but from her own council. They had discovered enough to accuse her. On the day of her coronation, they tried to strip her of her title, to expose her as a danger to the Empire. But before they could, I stepped forward. She's not a danger, I told them. She's the future. And if you can't see that, then maybe it's not her who doesn't deserve the throne, it's you. Gasps echoed across the hall. I half expected execution on the spot. But Serenya lifted her chin, silver eyes blazing, and for the first time, she didn't hide her power. Yes, she said, her voice resonant with unshakable strength. I am not what you expected. I am more. And to my astonishment, the council knelt. Later, when the palace quieted, she stood beside me on the balcony, twin moons casting light across her features. You knew the truth, she murmured. You could have betrayed me. Why didn't you? I smiled faintly. Because protecting you wasn't just my duty. It was my choice. Her hand brushed mine, brief but warm. Then know this, human. Whatever history writes of my reign, it will not forget your name. And as the alien princess turned to face her empire, I realized the truth I had guarded wasn't just hers anymore. It was ours. He thought his duty was to guard her life. Instead, he guarded her secret, and changed the fate of an empire. If you enjoyed this HFY story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more original sci-fi tales. Until next time, stay tuned.